Making effective use of available resources to meet the service levels promised to customers is what distribution management and planning is all about.
Two key terms which are used in the realm of distribution management are physical distribution and logistics. Physical distribution involves the physical movement of goods through the extended supply chain from the manufacturer to the end consumer.
Physical distribution includes warehousing and storage, material handling, order processing, order picking, applied protective packaging, and transporting and delivery.
Logistics, however, involves improving efficiency through the planning, design, coordination, management, and improving the processes for the movement of goods.
In other words, distribution is the actual movement of goods, but logistics is much more encompassing and includes the strategic elements of distribution management.
Some of the objectives of distribution management are to give better customer service, increase sales, and decrease cost. A distribution network encompasses the full distribution model from the manufacturer to the end retail store, or as is the case for online sales, directly to the customer.
Some considerations need to be made when designing what the distribution network looks like, such as the proximity to customers, storage requirements, available services, and labor requirements.
Where the customer is located will have a primary influence on where a regional warehouse is placed. Every delivery trip has a cost associated with it. An analysis of each cost element will help inform this decision.
Different types of products may have different storage requirements. For example, a product may be heat or cold sensitive and require a temperature-controlled environment. There may be hazardous products which require special handling, or other factors which will influence the design or distribution networks.
An important consideration when choosing a location for a distribution depot is the availability of services that will be required, such as power, water, access to roads, etc. Warehouses and distribution depots require labor, whether it is for physical labor for picking, packing, and moving goods, or for operating machines which perform these tasks. Choosing a location which can provide the right level of labor resources will determine the success of the facility.
Often, a business will choose to own all the elements of the extended supply chain. This could be either upstream, as in owning the supply distribution, or downstream, as in owning the sales distribution.
Reverse integration is when the company owns some or all of the activities upstream from its operations. It owns the supplier or suppliers in order to have control over the sourcing of products, raw materials, or components.
Forward vertical integration occurs when one of the players in the supply chain acquires control of a downstream operation to increase control over the supply of products to the customer, such as a brewery owning the trucks and the logistics operation.
Horizontal integration occurs when a company is being taken over by or merged with another company in the same industry, such as a car manufacturer merging with another car manufacturer.
Distribution Requirements Planning, or DRP, is a technique used to determine the correct inventory levels across the distribution network.
DRP calculates the demand for every SKU, stock keeping unit, at each distribution center or branch and accumulates this to a total demand per product. Another point to consider when calculating requirements across a distribution network is whether it is a centralized or a decentralized network.
In a centralized distribution planning system, the decisions to replenish are made at the main center or manufacturing facility, and inventory is pushed to the downstream locations. Control of the inventory levels across the supply chain is maintained at the main center.
In decentralized systems, the regions make their own decisions based on local knowledge of future demand and place orders on the next level of supply. There is no consideration of the overall inventory levels in the total supply chain or planned production schedules.
DRP uses an ordering technique called time-phased order points, or TPOP, which is the same logic used by MRP, Materials Requirement Planning. Simply put, this technique matches purchase orders to demand coming from forecasts in specific time periods. In other words, the demand in week 1 of March may be different to the demand in week 3 of March. TPOP suggests purchase orders for each period based on this demand.
In conclusion, to meet the demands of the end consumer in a distribution network, careful consideration needs to be given to where all the parts of the distribution network are placed and how inventory is replenished throughout this extended network.